Welcome to a special Monday evening episode of Taking It to the Know. I'm your host, Boston Jimmie, and tonight I once again have a panel of Cigar Mobile Lounge owners, and these are always a fun show because we're going to look at some of their lounges. We're going to talk about what they're doing and the movement that they're continuing to progress through the cigar industry. There's, I think, five panelists, and we'll get to them in just a moment. But first, we need to do a little advertising segment, as always.
And today's show is brought to you by Bocock Brothers Cigars, a new and active brand founded by two Honduran brothers, Bryant and Douglas Bocock. The brand zeroes in on those folks that are looking for easy to smoke cigars inspired by unusual circumstances. Very importantly named after their very interesting and imitable last name, Bocock. Right now, Bocock Brothers is featuring their Signature Edition, made at the A.J. Fernandez factory in Esteli, Nicaragua. It features an Ecuadorian Sumatra wrapper, a Nicaraguan Habano binder, and a Nicaraguan filler. Available in three popular formats, a Robusto, a Toro, and a Gordo. You can check out Bocock Brothers Cigars at www.bocockbrothers.com. And today's show is brought to you by Platinum Nova Cigars. Platinum Nova is a family-owned and operated premium cigar company. Only the highest vintage tobacco and the most skilled hand workmanship go into the making of each Platinum Nova cigar. This results in a timeless blend of art and craftsmanship. The Nova brand and the family's work are a tribute and an honor to their grandfather to always remember him and his infinite passion for the finest cigars. Their love for cigars started with their grandfather, a dedicated master blender and entrepreneur in the cigar industry. So the next time you're looking for that exquisite cigar experience, pick up a Platinum Nova. You can check them out at Platinum Nova Cigars, www.novacigar.com, and on their Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter channels. And today's show is brought to you by All Saints Cigars, a company founded in 2019 and headed up by industry veteran Mickey Pegg and his two friends, Martin Corboy, a successful restaurateur, and Frank Leo, an Air Force Academy graduate military veteran. As Mickey explains it, they were all sitting down, talking and smoking cigars, and finally they decided that they would do this thing together. It was time. Mickey said, I decided if I'm going to work hard at it, it should be something I love. Besides, a tough day with a cigar is better than a great day doing anything else. Soon after, they began the process of launching All Saints Cigars, jokingly referring to themselves as the Holy Trinity, St. Michael, St. Martin, and St. Francis. They chose for their logo the cross of St. James, the patron saint of Nicaragua, the country where their cigars would be produced. You can check out All Saints Cigars at www.allsaintscigars.com.
All right, let's get this show rolling. Ladies and gentlemen, how are you all doing? I apologize for all the technical difficulties, but we're on.
Awesome. Thank you, Jimmie.
Yeah, you're welcome. Very much so. Everybody hopefully has a good cigar they're smoking right now. What are we smoking today?
I'm doing a mystery smoke. I take all the labels off and put them in a humidor, and I just grab one.
I love that concept.
Takes the guessing game out of it.
Perfect. How about you, Joey?
If I was I'm inside my house right now, so I'm not smoking right now. But if I was, it would probably be like a Black Diamond from Jason Newman or a Brick House.
All right. How about Carmen?
We're smoking our own cigar, number 19, San Andreas wrapper, Nicaraguan long filler, full body.
Awesome. Hollywood.
What's up, fellas? I am smoking a Ceniza Fina.
Nice.
And Brian here, did Brian come back in? He might be off on the side because we had these technical difficulties. So anyway, we'll get this show rolling. Um, Mobile Cigar Lounges. Oh, there he is. Brian, what are you and your brother smoking?
I am smoking a Mexican San Andreas by Cafe 1901.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing.
And I've got an Harlequin from our good friend who used to put rockets in space. All right. Mobile Cigar Lounges. We've had, I think this might be the third iteration of this show. Things have evolved. I've seen more and more of these popping up as I traveled around the country. Where are we in the state of mobile cigar lounges in 2024? Maybe we'll start with Brian.
I think they're really becoming the next, wave of lounges. I think, we've kicked off this is our second year going on, bringing out the lounge to the people. And I think as far as private parties and working with a lot of the local establishments and fairs and things like that, people are loving the new wave of mobile cigar lounges. I know since I started researching, opening the lounge to today, the numbers have increased. I mean, each month we have the Cigar Mobile Lounge Association group, and we're always getting new activity, new people wanting to come in and open the lounge. And I think that's kind of where this whole group originated from, was meeting there.
And you're sitting in yours right now, Brian, right?
Yeah, we're sitting in the lounge right now.
That's pretty nice. What is that based out of? What's the base vehicle?
So we took a 28-foot car hauler, actually had it custom built with the 8-foot ceilings, so it's a little bit bigger than a car hauler, and built it out to make it look like a speakeasy. And just kind of that whole lounge feel. We got some king chairs, a big bench, some live edge with a little bar top on the other side, and and then the back opens up to a deck, and we put out the same amount of chairs on the outside. We seat about 14 inside and about 14 to 16 outside.
How about you, Carmen?
We are in the process now of buying the trailer. But right now we function with a 10 by 20 and a 10 by 30. And what we do, we bring leather club chairs and make it into a full lounge as well, with lighting and everything.
Nice.
Yeah.
We also bring our rolling table and we roll on site as well.
Oh, okay. But that ought to be fun. So, wherever you show up there, somebody's going to watch you roll. So very good. And you have your own cigar too, you just said, right?
Yeah, that's actually what we only offer is whatever we roll.
Oh, there's some uniqueness there.
Yeah, we don't bring anybody else's brand right now.
Okay. I like that. What about you, Darius?
8.5 by 20. Kind of the same concept that Brian has. We got the indoor lounge into a tent with the outdoor lounge area as well, with the club chair, lighting, TV.
Now, how long have you been doing this?
Since 2021.
Okay, so you're in for 3 years. And Joey?
Yeah, I think the mobile cigar lounge industry, I think, is getting a lot bigger. Like every week, someone's at least hitting us up, asking about how they open up a mobile cigar lounge. I always point them to our Facebook group and, ask any questions because I've been there. We have a 1973 Airstream that we converted into a mobile cigar lounge. So it's very beautiful. It's on our website and our Instagram. So I'm not saying the lounge right now, but we've been operating for about 6 years now.
And you're based out of?
I'm based out of New Jersey.
New Jersey. Good place to be, I guess.
Yeah.
How about you, Hollywood?
I got a 1969 Airstream that I converted into a lounge. 12, 15 people inside, and then I put out 16 chairs outside.
Do you have a Canadian flag outside of yours?
I do not.
I don't know if you understand that joke, but living in Florida, when we have these trailer resident parks during the cold weather, when all the Canadians come down, they come down, they have these air trailers and have like this, there's like Canadian flag and American flag outside when you go in, because you know the Canadians, and they all come in with these airstreams. There's like a whole airstream park in town. It's amazing. So there's an association that is, from what I understand, being created called the CMLA. Who wants to pick up a little bit and talk about what the CMLA is, what its vision's going to be, what's the goals of the CMLA?
I can jump on. I'm kind of one of the admins for it, kind of taking a little bit of a lead role in it right now, just putting things together. And it's started. It was started by a gentleman named Steve Goodman. Steve Goodman's the singer. Steve Newman. He had this vision, I guess, to put this group together. I jumped in at one point a couple of years ago. It's probably been back in 21, and it's a great platform for all of us mobile cigar lounges to kind of, we try to do a monthly HERF, try to arrange that so we get together, a few of us, whoever's in the group is welcome to join us, bounce ideas off of each other, just kind of a platform to build on and share ideas, share what's working, what's not working in the industry, for mobile lounges, and just help each other out. That's, the brother and sisterhood of a Leaf is an amazing culture, and just a place for everybody to go and ask questions. And because as we travel down this road, there's a bunch of hurdles as far as the mobile aspect of it, and trying to figure out what somebody else did or ask questions on how to do that and how to jump over that hurdle. It took us several months to get our mobile tobacco retailer license in the state of Illinois. So, they just couldn't wrap their head around the concept of a mobile lounge. So we were having difficulties getting our permits. So, kind of talked to everybody in the group and see what they did. And that was a good, that's those questions and things like that. That's kind of what helps everybody.
So others in the group, have you had problems getting a tobacco resale license for a mobile lounge, or is it really only where Brian is in Illinois?
Pennsylvania was really good for us. And I think the Facebook group has been awesome. Hollywood's been great guiding a lot of us, as he knocked down a lot of doors before we all got there. So he's been and we're very grateful to you, Hollywood. Thank you for a lot of, I know I bother you a lot at the beginning.
It's all good.
But I appreciate all the knowledge that you provided to us. And, like Brian said, we bounce a lot of ideas off of each other. But a lot of the guys that started before us, that they gave us a lot of guidance, and the ones that have come afterwards, it's a great group to get guidance. And, if your heart's in it, and, this is a marathon, it's not a sprint. You get a lot of knowledge, and everybody helps each other out wherever we are in wherever state in the country. Everybody puts in their 2 cents to try to help each other out.
Yeah, I think the group is a great for resources. There have been a lot of people, just like Hollywood, who had like one of the first like mobile airstreams that I've seen coming out of it, and people like ask from, hey, what filters do you use? What kind of cigars? I've seen some people say, hey, what kind of flavor profile should I put into my lounge? And everyone puts their 2 cents in. And I think it's just a great resource, a great community also, because we're pretty niche, right? We're in the mobile spot. We're bringing the cigars to your event, so it's a great resource spot. And going to the question about getting your tobacco license, it's what I tell everybody. It's very between every state, right? Because I'm like, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, I know those laws. New York, I know those laws. But then when you go to different states, it could get kind of difficult. I know there's some states where they require you to have a brick and mortar before you have a tobacco license. So the first thing I always ask someone whenever they ask, hey, can I should I start a mobile cigar lounge? I go, check your state laws first, and ask them first, because whatever advice I give you, instead of, sitting down for an hour and talking about it, if you can't do it, you can't do it, and that's just nothing we can do about it. It's just the state law, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Is there a particular time or season of the year where you do better? Like, is it winter time or summertime? Man, what's your experiences on that? We'll start with Darius, man. I haven't said anything.
For me, I'm in Mississippi, so it's definitely the fall. SEC football is big, so we catch a lot of SEC football and blues shows down in the Delta. So I would say the fall, the winter for us down in the Delta.
How about Hollywood?
I'm in Arizona, so summer times are usually pretty slow because it's too hot. Nobody wants to be outside. But October to May, I'm booked a lot.
Ryan?
We're kind of the opposite of Hollywood. We're that April, May to October. We're in the Midwest, so we capitalize on that spring and summer and early fall.
About Carmen?
Between April onto the end of November. It's our best.
Okay. And Joey?
For me, September, October are like the biggest. We probably do like 50 events a week during those months.
So you're ratcheting up. You guys are ratcheting up right now. April time, spring, the renewal, people starting to go out more. Are there restrictions on where you can show up? Like, can you just park on a street without a permit? Can you park? Can you be in a park? Can you be? Do you have to be near an area that is cigar related? I don't know. What are the rules on that? I'm sure that varies by state, but there's got to be some basic rules.
Yeah, it depends on the county. It depends on the county, because right now where we at, actual Allentown City, there's a lot of ordinance where they don't allow any smoking in certain part of the area. So let's say from 8th Street to 12th Street, there's no smoking, and that's where the most events happen. So there is no smoking ordinance, so it's no way that we can do any sort of event. We could sell, but there's no smoking. So it's not the same experience that we are giving to the customer, and just to be able to show them to light up, to cutting, and just experience to lighting up. So I think it depends on the county and the area.
Something I always tell just people with new mobile cigar lounges, check exactly what Carmen said, check your town laws. But if you're doing events, it's usually based on the event planner who's coordinating the event or hosting the event, which means that you don't have to get permits because they're set for permits in that set location. Because that's how I started off with. I did a lot of, just like everyone here, did a lot of wine festivals, food truck festivals. Those places, you just need to ask permission and find who the person is to allow, vendoring or those resources. But if you plan to, just like a food truck or, a mobile cigar lounge, you gotta ask your town to see if there's any commercial spots that are available. But most likely you have to go through private properties. So don't kill yourself trying to get a spot in the town. Start looking for those festivals, start looking for events that you could actually just go into, pay a fee, and there's a lot of foot attendants that are happening there. That's just my advice.
Yeah, normally whoever is organizing the event, they know if they have the permission or not. So they'll invite who they seem that, like Joey said, who's allowed and who's not.
Yeah.
And if you were to go to like a bar, right, you would get permission from them, I guess, to be in their parking lot.
Right.
Yeah. So we partner with a couple of establishments.
I think most of us are invited or hired to be at events.
Yeah.
I don't think I think it's very far and few that are going to spots and just doing like a pop-up. Because you're putting yourself out there like that. Most of the time, either you're getting hired or you're getting brought into the event. Or if there's a festival, something, you just pay a vendor's fee, and like Joey said, the organizer will know if you're good or not.
Now, some of yous have trailers. Some of them, like Hollywood's got an Airstream. When you have a vehicle like an Airstream, do you drive around with people in the Airstream smoking and enjoying?
No,
I wish.
no, no. Yeah, we get asked. It's no.
Yeah.
Okay.
Liability insurance.
But there's a workaround. You can always buy a motorhome.
That's right.
Yeah, I guess
Yeah.
you could.
But
What is the outside? So I guess the cost of that, outside of the cost of the vehicle itself, what would you generally put the build out cost at? I know it's probably varies, but what's the average out of pocket somebody's going to spend to build out a decent mobile lounge?
Let's go around the horn. Let's throw some numbers.
Okay, let's do it.
I think
Yeah,
You
you
really
Brian.
want to know?
Yeah.
Depends on how many boxes of cigars you want to carry. You know, also
the our build out, we went with a. I was originally looking at an Airstream, and then we ended up going with a custom built car hauler. But after we built it out, everything said and done, wrapped in. I mean, we're in that 65 to 70. Okay, so
Okay.
just everything involved.
I see a lot of head nods. So anybody above or below 65?
I might be a little bit below because I did all the work. Well, like Brian, they did all the work themselves. I did all the work myself. But probably 60.
yeah, easy.
All right.
Easy.
So the vehicle plus 60 get your lounge, and then the next step is getting the word out, letting people know that you have this. So
Well,
how do you market yourself? Is it just Facebook, or what are you doing to market yourself in your area?
Social media is very key.
I do a lot of events, paid events. I do a lot of like the Barrett Jacksons. I just did Arizona Bike Week, Country Thunder. When you go to those big events, you have to pay money to be there, but that's part of the advertising. I use that as my advertising because you can advertise in a book, or you could be at an event like that where you can get thousands of eyes on you, and people that don't even, maybe not even smoke, but they just want to see what you're about. Then they might have a cousin, a brother, a sister, or something that has a wedding or a whatever, and then they're like, oh, that's a good idea, I should get you for this. And that's how I do a lot of my marketing, and Instagram and Facebook.
Same with us.
Another resource that we found it was helpful and it's free. Your local magazine will do, some counties, again, some states, they will do happy hour networking for free. And a lot of company goes, we tend to show up, just exchange business card, and then we get events from there as well.
You show up with the rig, or you just show up?
No, just show up.
Be cool to show up with the rig and say, you want to check it out? It's outside of the parking lot. You don't have to have it operational, but you could bring people out and be like, wow, this is awesome. We're having a corporate event next week. Do you guys do golf tournaments?
We do a lot of golf out.
Yes.
A lot.
Golf out
Friday.
Okay.
Doing one Friday.
I really love golf outings because they fill up my week. My week is like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesdays are probably your golf outing days. And then your Thursday to Sunday are mostly your wedding and your private parties.
Yeah.
So great advice to give anyone who's starting their lounge, look how you can fill up your week on doing events and golf outings, because they have Mondays and Tuesdays and Wednesdays. They're so big, especially this weather that's getting out for us Northeasterners. It's great weather for golf, and that's when we just go out and they start booking us for annual events and nonprofit and golf outings and things like that.
Yeah, we did our first golf outing last year. We got hired by Larry Holmes, does a big celebrity golf tournament, and that was very huge for us. It opened the doors for a lot of other golf tournaments for us. Golf tournaments are really good, and like Joey said, I mean, that Sunday to Wednesday, it fills up your calendar very quickly.
One of the things that really has done well for us too is car show events, car events. Last year we did Rat Stock, which is an event done by Rat Rod Magazine, and just that opened many doors for us, and it's been phenomenal.
when you run a big event like that, okay, and we'll put them in, there's categories. I'm sure there's weddings and then there's big events. What would you say the average gross is on a big event?
One one of our big events that we do over here is called it's a racing event. And because of the market and the type of market that go there, we probably gross around 6 grand just for one day that's over there.
Okay.
So look at the event, look at the foot traffic, and the type of audience it is, and you'll definitely sell more. I've done events. We have a running joke in my company. I've done events where I've probably only sold 2 cigars, but they're not our market. They're not cigar smokers. They're not, they're with families. It's not a great smoking environment. So I've been there, done that. So I would say those big events, if you're hitting the right market, just like what Brian was saying, especially out there with the car shows, or you're doing the golf outings that we do out here in the Northeast, if you hit the right market with the right crowd, they're smokers and you'll do well at. So, like I said, I've done low with selling 2 cigars. I have the lowest sell count at an event. And then we do this big event where we do like 6,000 in gross revenue just in one day because of the type of crowd that does it.
I think the cool thing about every event is that it opens doors for other events. There's always somebody that, it strikes it like a, very cool idea, something to bring in for their corporate or their, like you said, the wedding or somebody's retirement party. I mean, we even did a divorce party down in Washington,
That's
DC.
probably a better one. I was gonna say
That was a really cool one. So, you just gotta, it's like everything. You gotta put in the work, but as long as you keep an open mind and you network with everybody that walks into your lounge, it opens the door for something else.
And when you do a wedding or a party like that, a bachelor party, or do you charge to show up for that?
Yeah.
There's a fee for you to show up, and then there's the purchase and enjoyment of the lounge itself.
There's a fee
And
for
then
everything.
There's a fee for everything, except for when you actually go to a big event, you're just showing up. You're paying them.
You're paying them. Yeah, anyone who's starting a mobile cigar lounge, if you're doing a private event, let the client pay for you.
Yeah.
Your time, your resources, things like that. I think it's very important. But like I said, the event is what really grew our company back in 2018. We did probably in one year 200 events of just food truck festivals I was at every festival, every weekend, every wine festival, every everything under the sun. I've learned a lot about my business because of that. Where some audiences are great, some audiences are not great. We're selling a couple of cigars, but you get to learn. And I've been there where it's like I've volunteered or gave money off my time, but I learned a lot about my business because of it.
Spot of
And,
growing.
some of those events that you only do, you're only selling 2 cigars, but if you book an event off of that,
Yeah,
it's worth your time and being there.
absolutely.
Yeah.
What is it? What does it cost generally to hire you for a wedding or bachelor party, divorce party, or whatever?
So for us, for big fellas here in the Midwest, we do a 3 hour for $650. That's a 3 hour minimum, and then $150 an hour after that for private parties. If we do something with a local establishment or something where it's going to be an all-day event, we kind of put a cap on it, but we increase that and just make it, depending on what they do, because that's just the rental fee. So then there's cigar packages and things like that you can buy off of that, or a lot of golf outings want cigars banded with their brand on it, so they can hand them out and things like that. So, but yeah, there's kind of that different package level there too. But once you cover your flat rental fee, then everything else.
How about Darius? You got to go off mute. You're on mute. Nope,
Darius is
still on.
muted.
He's still on mute.
I said we start out at 500 and then from there you get your add-ons, and it's basically catered to the person and what they want and what they don't want. But there is a flat fee just for me to show up, and that includes no cigars. And once they start adding cigars and different stuff, the price automatically goes up from there.
Hollywood.
I charge $250 an hour with a 2-hour minimum and $150 an hour for every hour afterwards. Cigars are extra.
Okay. So when you do, when I think of weddings, I've been to many weddings, and I always have my cigars because you never know who I'm going to meet that might be enjoy cigars. And the one thing you learn about a wedding is a cigar is an hour and a half. That's pretty much the whole wedding. Wedding. And the bride's like, where is everybody? Oh, they're outside with Jimmie smoking cigars. And I become a bad guy. How does that work? How do you work that with you have just do outdoor weddings, or I mean, how does that work without getting the bride all upset?
We've only did outdoor weddings, so typically the bride they'll come by, the groom will come by, and the groomsmen, like, they kind of hang out. We're kind of mixed into whatever the wedding venue is, so it's kind of an open concept.
Okay.
Pennsylvania is a little bit different. There's some venues that allow smoking in their property, some don't. So, you know, whoever's the groom and bride, they got to know where they're booking their event. And if not, we just provide our cigars, and that's it.
Hmm.
A lot of it's educating the couples because they think their guests are going to be out there for 2 hours. You know, something I would suggest is getting like a nice 30-minute smoke, so that they could go in. And I think it's just educating the couples, because if you tell them, hey, listen, they're gonna come outside for 15, 20 minutes, and they'll be right back inside dancing on the So it's because a lot of them don't know, what how long it takes, or they don't know how long the cigar takes, right? So they automatically think, oh, if they're gonna be here for an hour, hour and a half, that your guests are gonna be there for an hour, hour and a half. And when you do a cigar experience, it's more like, hey, it's gonna take probably like 20, 30 minutes, and they're gonna be in and out, and the cigars are gonna be there lit, or if they need to relight, and the dancing and the partying is still going to go on. And I always tell them the best, photographs that you're going to get at a wedding is towards the end when they're smoking. We have like probably thousands of photos of brides, bridesmaids, grooms, all you name them all, that are outside just smoking a cigar and just ending the night. I think that's a big thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how many owners now are kind of loosely joined under the CMLA?
That's a great question. I mean, as far as established, I mean, that I kind of have an idea of, I would say, I don't know, maybe 60, 70, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I know. I know there's a lot of people that are interested and want to do. I think we got truck outside. I think that's about where we're at. I know there's about 400 people in the group. Anybody got
400. Okay, so actually, let me just pop the group up here, and everybody can see where I'm looking at.
There's probably no more than 100 mobile cigar lounges in the United States. There's no way.
Put it in perspective, when I looked online to do mine 4 years ago, I found maybe 10.
Yeah.
And now
So
there's probably 60 to 80 in less than 4 years.
Yeah.
So this is your Facebook group, right? Cigar Mobile Lounge Association, CMLA. You got 530 members. Of course, all of those are probably not owners, but they interact, it looks like. And anybody that wants...
You got a lot of the, Jimmie, you got a lot of the guys that are also starting out as cigar vendors that are part of the group as well.
Yeah.
Which is it's a totally different concept for what we're all doing as well.
And then you have a membership thing here. Hopefully this opens up. Open up.
And
Okay.
we get a lot of people that start asking questions, and when they find out to get a trailer, you
Yeah.
refit it, and
How
it's like
much?
minimum 60, 65. And if you want to go all out, I mean, you could be like Hollywood. Are you, first thing I ask is, are you good with your hands? That could save costs. But
Yeah.
you're not, I could see it going above 75, 80, and
Yeah.
that's
Oh
just
yeah.
getting that. And this is probably trailer cigars. Then you need to get website, taxes, a team if you need to. So that's just like starting cost. So I would probably say a
Yeah.
starting cost for a mobile cigar lounge is probably gonna run you just under 100K. And
I always
that's
tell
with like
people,
everything.
I always tell people, do you have $100,000 in a suitcase you can park in your driveway and leave there for a week and not do anything with it? Because that's what you're going to do. If your lounge isn't out, it's not making money. So
Yeah.
you have something sitting there that doesn't make any money, or it's in storage or whatever. I mean, if you can't do that, then don't get in this business,
Yeah.
because you have to be able to be flexible and you know, I look at it like it's like you said, it's a marathon, not a sprint. I look 6 months out, a year out. I go do events, and if I book somebody 6 months after that event, or they see me at an event and they book me 6 months later, I'm good with that. You have to be, proactive with that.
Yep.
It's not a go here today and book tomorrow deal. It doesn't work that way.
I agree. It takes a lot of tough people to get into this industry because like cigars
Patience.
is a niche.
Yeah.
Cigar stores is even a bigger niche. It's
Yep.
even a bigger niche than cigar stores. Mobile cigar lounges.
Mobile, yeah. You have to have patience. You have
Yeah.
to have patience. You have to know, like, okay, if I do this event, I might generate 1 or 2 leads. Out of seeing 3,000, 5,000, 10,000 people, I generate 5 leads. Really, that's it. Well, it is what it is. That's patience and slowly marketing yourself.
Yeah. I think one of the other things too that you're when in the mobile aspect of it, you're not just selling cigars; you're selling the experience. So you're selling the lounge, you're selling yourself. You got to be that people person to have a mobile lounge, and I think everybody kind of can speak on that. You just can't go sell cigars and be done. There's a lot of networking and a lot of
You definitely have to interact with people and just talk to people and get them comfortable, get them to be a brother or a sister while they're here. You know what I mean? Get big family as everybody's together. I mean, we had that experience yesterday. We went to a birthday party for a guy who was turning 40, and we didn't know anybody when we got there. And by the time hour and a half later, I mean, we started figuring out that this guy knows they're smoking a cigar, and this guy knows it, the same people we do, and it's just you get family oriented real fast with people, and that's the guy's already talking about bringing us back in August for a big party that they have, big block party. So I mean that you have to interact with people. You just can't stand there and cut their cigar, light it, and say here you go, and shove them out the door. You just have to keep talking to people.
Yeah, that's definitely a big part of it.
One of the biggest things that we do is that we sell an experience, right? Because you can buy cigars anywhere, but what we're selling is a complete experience. So that's what, that's got to be your main focus, is to sell the experience that your mobile cigar lounge provides.
Right. Yeah. We get people to come into our lounge because a lot of times the younger guys and gals, they feel intimidated to go into a brick and mortar. They don't know what they're looking for. Mm-hmm. They walk into a humidor and they're just overwhelmed because there's so many in there to choose from. Here they come in, first thing we ask them, have you smoked before? Yes or no question. And it's either they know what they're looking for, or we send them towards a flavored cigar, and it's one of the best things that they've had. The next time we're at a car show, these same guys will show up, and he'll show up with his buddies. And he'll go from the sweet humidor to the all-natural tobaccos, and he's enjoying it even more than he did the first time he was in there.
Something I love what Big Fellas is saying too, how we're saying we're going in this cone and we're very niche. If we flip it around, a lot of us here have met so many new smokers at our events. So then that entry is now small because they're new smokers to then elevate them to then go to the cigar lounges to then support other cigar companies.
Yeah.
So it kind of like flips because I've had that too, and I'm sure a lot of us have been there where we meet people who've never smoked a cigar in their life, or this is their first time smoking a cigar, and they're like, actually, this is pretty good. And then they
Yeah.
started going into a spree of finding new cigars, checking you out. But I agree with the big fellows and everyone here. This industry is not just tobacco, especially what Carmen and her husband are saying. It's more of the experience because you can't just stand there and cut and light a cigar. You might as well just buy a cutter and lighter and just leave it at the table. You
And
have
I get
great,
a lot of people too that you meet at events and they're first time smokers, and they're like, well, where do you hang out? Well, I hang
yeah,
out at this lounge. This is my regular lounge. You can find me there 2 days, 3 days a week, whatever. When I'm not doing this, this is where I'm hanging out to smoke. And then they end up showing up there. Like you said, you'd be here a
Yes.
couple times a week. I thought I'd check it out,
yeah.
and they come and check out your local lounge, and then they feel comfortable there because they kind of know you, or
Yeah.
you told them about it, so they feel comfortable going there. Which
I,
that's
Yeah.
why I don't have a whole lot of, I don't know of anybody else, but I don't have a whole lot of problems with lounges here in Arizona because I'm not in competition with them. I'm actually helping them bring in new customers.
I
And
agree.
that's happened with the local lounge here. I'll go in there during the week while we don't have something going on. I'll sit down after work, have a cigar. As soon as I walk in, the guy behind the counter is like, "Hey, I want to thank you." He said, "We had two guys come in here this week that we've never seen. They grabbed a cigar and they said that they were in your lounge the week before, 2 weeks before, and now they're in here, and they'll come in and grab a handful of cigars, sit down and smoke one." So we have helped them as much as the brick and mortars have helped us,
Yeah.
at least around here.
Right on.
That's
All right, I'm
definitely
gonna.
cooler because the part of it of not just experience, but the educational part of it. Sometimes when
Exactly.
my first time going to a cigar lounge, I walked in and, I knew what I like, but I started asking questions, and sometimes it's just a salesperson. They may not be well educated on the tobacco or guide you to what your palate goes through or compare if you don't have that cigar. So when we do offer the education part and experience, we don't only just say, well, just have this one and, you'll be fine. We want to make sure they have a good experience smoking. A lot of people will just, be so they intimidated by even saying, I never smoke, and they just grab the wrong cigar because they didn't ask the right question, or they just felt like they didn't want to look, on knowledge about it.
Right.
And they have a bad experience. They don't want to smoke again, so it's all about guiding them and educating them as well.
And if they try and do it on their own, a lot of times a guy will get a cigar that he don't like. It was the worst thing he ever had, and he's not interested in doing it anymore. This way, they come in here, and we could set them to something that we know that their palate will enjoy, and that they'll be able to come back and either enjoy the same thing again or move on. We hate to see them turn around and never come back or never want to smoke a cigar again. That's not why we're here. We want that experience to be top notch for them and for them to come back here or to a brick and mortar and educate. Yeah.
Experience and education. And that is the best thing we could do for all cigar consumers.
Yes.
Even the most seasoned cigar enthusiasts could use a little advice once in a while from a real tobacconist when something new comes out to say, hey, this is not in your palate, but it's maybe a little more advanced, and try it. This one's way well beyond whatever you've had. You may not particularly enjoy it. So it's always good for that. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to do the second advertising segment. This is about 2 minutes. And then when we come back, what I want to do is I want to dig a little more into numbers. Basically, I want you to think about who's net positive after the years you've been doing this. And don't all chuckle at the same time. So with that, let me share my computer.
That's crazy.
And today's show is brought to you by Casa Cuevas Cigars. In the 19th century, Juan Cuevas, Spanish immigrant from Santander, began what was to be a family business which now spans 4 generations. Like others fortunate enough to live and work in Pinar del Rio province of Cuba, Juan commenced cultivating tobacco, turning it into a successful business. Years later, in the Ciabo Valley of the Dominican Republic, Luis Cuevas Sr., Juan Jr.'s son, carried on the family tradition of handcrafting fine cigars in the family's cigar factory, Tabacalera Las Lavas. Today, Luis Sr. is joined by his son Luis Jr. in the manufacturing and sale of premium long filler cigars. So check out Casa Cuevas Cigars at www.casacuevascigars.com and on their Instagram and Facebook channels. And today's show is brought to you by Perilous, a game of ultimate cigar trivia, where contestants compete to win prizes and gift certificates to purchase their favorite products. You can join Perilous by going to stogiepress.com/perilous and register to be a contestant.
Do know when anybody has a business, there is lots of expenses that you write down on the business, a lot of maintenance, costs, travel. But in the end, sooner or later, you have to show a profit. How many of you are net profitable at this stage, would you say, or are you getting there? And how long did it take to get there if you did? Yeah, Joey.
So my first year, just like any business, we lost money because we had to build the Airstream out, we had to do the website, we have to get all our ducks in a row. You have to buy insurances, and as you get bigger, I have to worry about workers' comp. I gotta worry about like retirement planning and stuff like that for some of my employees, some of our team members. But yeah, my first year and change, everything that we made, we just invested right back into the business. So going back to what Hollywood was saying, you got 100 grand. Also, you have to understand that that's just for that first year. And then if you don't make any money during your second or third year, you're gonna be in the red. So for me, it was about my first year, lost my all reinvested back into the business, so that we could grow where we are now, 5 years later. So definitely my first year was definitely a loss, but that's fine in business sense.
So you're in a profitable situation now. This is-
Who's asking? You or the government? Yeah,
You're not
I'll
losing.
say,
You're
I'll
not.
say this.
You're not
Yeah,
reaching into your second mortgage of your house.
no, no, no. I'll answer that question. Yes.
Okay.
But yeah, no.
Oh,
If you do things properly, and that's why you use a group,
right.
CMLA. Figure out where your costs are, your P&Ls, your balance sheets, your finance. Huge thing too. You gotta be like a master of everything into this because you have to look into all those things when you grow your business.
How about
But
you, Hollywood? You've been doing this for quite a while.
Been doing it for 3 years. Technically, had the Airstream for 4. Profitable after a year and a half, 2 years.
Okay. Brian?
So we're in our second year, so we're making money to spend money, like Joey was saying. We're doing okay. We're heading in a direction that will be okay, but right now we're making money to spend money.
Okay. How
Yeah,
about Darius?
Same. First year took a huge loss. Year two kind of switched jobs, so I had to take a hiatus and kind of bouncing back now.
Okay. And Carmen?
We, it's like every business, you have to have a business plan. Look at it, like we said at the beginning, it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. So like Joey said, 5 years in, you're starting to look in the green. But the first 2 to 3 years, you're looking to recycle money, right? You're making money to keep growing your business. So that's just part of it. We're in our 3rd season, so we're starting to look a lot better, but to keep growing. So we started a different route. Instead of going with the actual mobile unit, our mobile unit is different because it's a tent, a 10 by 20. and a 10 by 30. So we set up the same way, just we don't come with a whole mobile rig. We actually have a smaller rig. Our rig is 7 by 12. So we carry everything in our rig, and now looking to expand. So, you know, it's whatever the vision that you have, but you definitely have to have a business plan going in, and just looking at it that whatever you're making is to reinvest into your business to keep growing. You're not going to go bang for a buck right when you start out of the starting gate, you know?
Sure.
Jimmie,
Now,
can I
yeah,
add exactly what Carmen's husband was saying?
Lewis.
What Lewis was saying, have a business plan because we don't want to scare people off to go into this venture. Just like any business, if you're going to start a business, the first year is going to be a little bit rough. It's that business plan that all of us here have had a vision or put something down on paper is why we passed our first year. Right. I think the number is 70%, 70 to 80% of small businesses fail within their first year. But a lot of it is due to lack of planning or poor management of funds. So it's going to take a year. What we were saying, it's going to take a year. You're going to be at loss. Second and third, it's going to be recycling that money to then go 4, 5, 6, and then to get to the 10-year mark is a smaller percentage. But if you keep your eye on the prize and you keep changing things up, it's a big thing. But readjusting that business plan is, I think, very important, and knowing that it's what everyone's saying, it's a marathon, not a sprint. I always tell people if you're looking to make quick money cash in this business, this is not the business to do it. Definitely not the business to do it. Go somewhere else.
This is for you then.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
if you're,
remember,
yeah.
yeah, because I mean, like Joey said, we're very, very niche, but our product is, it's a luxury product.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
no matter if we hand roll it or you're buying from somebody else or you're carrying somebody's brand, it's still a luxury product. So, and I'm very proud of our group and the guys that are in it, because we're more education people. We're true tobacconists. We're not any less than a brick and mortar. Actually, I think we're more educated than a lot of the people in brick and mortars because we want every single client to walk out with an amazing experience. So I think that's where we're very different from a brick and mortar. And plus, we help the brick and mortars more than the brick and mortars help us out.
sure.
I
Now-
think
Go ahead.
I think the good thing about the mobile lounge is with the brick and mortar, you're waiting for that door to come open. But the mobile lounge, you're actually bringing it to the people that want it.
Yep.
And
Right.
they're renting you, they're getting you there. Could they go get a box of cigars? Yes. Are they knowledgeable about what box they want? No. So this way, again, with the humidors being in here, they can pick out what they want. If they want the cigar, they're going to hire you to come to their event.
Now, how many of you borrowed money to create your mobile lounge, or did you use your own savings and what you had? What was show of hands that borrowed? Nobody. So you used
Love it.
your own savings. You
Zero.
invested whatever you had.
Yeah.
Okay, there was no bank involved in this. Is it hard to impossible to borrow from a bank to do a venture like this?
Yes.
I would say
We
yes.
don't know. We didn't borrow.
I would say yes because a lot of people have been asking, like, "Hey, I'm gonna borrow money to the bank." Well, the thing is, the bank wants to know that you're gonna pay them back for whatever loan. So if you're coming in on just a whim of a business plan and you don't show anything, it's very small industries that you could do that. Probably technology ones and things that require those funds to actually build. But proud to say a lot of us have bootstrapped our business from pennies, that we've made through time, work, and talent. I think that's why we're in this and we're sticking it out for after a year because we didn't, get an investor or anything. I mean, I'm just speaking for us, but I'm sure that's a lot. I know a lot of you in here, you bootstrapped your business by funds that you've saved, retirement planning, some money that you just wanted to invest into something because this is a passion project. Because like we were saying about the finances, it's not a quick cash scheme. It's more like there's a long run, and I'm putting my invested money into this business. So
You're investing in yourself,
Correct.
So if you invest in yourself, you have to hustle.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Ain't
your own
that the
skin in the
truth?
game.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's another characteristic that, you gotta be, when you gotta love the industry, the tobacco, you gotta be charismatic, like the big fellas when you're walking in. You gotta be educational, what Carmen and Lewis are saying. And the same thing with Hollywood. You gotta be a hustler in this game
Yeah.
because you gotta work hard. Yeah. That's fun. You get to drink and smoke for a living.
Right.
Well, yeah, there's different ways of doing that. I mean, I have my way, you've got your way.
It's a
Um,
rough life, but somebody's got to do it.
it's
Yeah.
yeah, I tell people, when I buy a cigar to review, that's material. I have to burn it
Yeah.
to do my job,
Correct.
and somebody's got to do it.
Exactly.
How do
I
you
we say that a
Yeah,
lot too. Like someone's got to do it, and I get a lot of that. Like, oh, you got the best job in the world. You just sit here and smoke cigars all day. Like, but they don't see all the
they don't see the
networking,
numbers.
all the setups, the teardowns, the running around, like all the work that's into it. Yeah, right now I'm sitting enjoying a cigar and conversing with you because that's what I'm here to do. But they don't see everything behind closed doors.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah,
lot of
we
back.
don't magically appear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you post on social media, you're replying to your clients, you're sending pricing, you're getting cigars, you're getting your inventory, you're making sure your things are stocked, ready to go for the next event.
Yep.
You're
Trying to book more events.
trying to book
Yeah.
more events. You're, on top of, there's a plethora of list of things that you got to do before you can get to the next event. And that's all behind the scene and hours that go into it that nobody knows.
As long as you're smiling, everything's going to be good. We
Yes,
hope.
sir.
Yeah, you can lose some sleep as well. I mean, in my case,
What's
I can
that?
wake up in the middle of the night out of nowhere, and he gives me a hard time with it because I will come up with an idea or just
Write this
a thought
down.
of it that happened throughout the day, and then it's like, okay, that's see, I lost my sleep because now I have to work. So I don't want to miss an opportunity. We don't want to miss an opportunity to be able to grow, you know?
Right. Exactly.
Yeah,
Agree.
especially, and I'm sure Joy could attest to this, especially us that are in the East Coast. Wintertime, we're always thinking how we could move and groove and how
Yeah.
to make things happen. Because, I mean, wintertime is a very slow season for mobile lounges, but, we make it happen. And one very cool thing about the mobile experience is that whoever walks into a mobile lounge is more open to trying something new, whether it's something that we hand rolled or something that we're carrying that nobody else is carrying or that we're promoting. I know Joey and his company, they work very close with JC Newman, and they got a great brand and all their stuff. So people that would never gravitate to the JC Newman and the Arturo Fuente type of stuff is something that they'll be open to trying because you're presenting it to them and you're explaining them. And we care more about their palate and what they smoke about, and we could guide them to what we're bringing, and so they could have an amazing experience. Plus, it'd be something very enjoyable for them.
So you brought up a good point in that where like Joey, he's powered by JC Newman. He's got a great relationship with JC Newman. My question I was going to ask earlier is where do you acquire your cigars? How do you source them? Do you get the same relationship that a shop gets with a brand? Is it hard to get certain brands because there's no way you can purchase the minimum order with them?
Right.
And Joey, I don't know how you got in with JC Newman, but they're an amazing company. They really support all these different these ventures that we have, whether it be media, lounges, and other things. So yeah, so that was pretty cool. So how do you source your cigars?
So, as far as big fellas, I mean, we use a few of the bigger distributors. But one of the things that I think sets us apart from, we're unique as it is. We've got a mobile lounge. It's like a speakeasy. We go to different events, and I don't want, if we're doing multiple events, different times, same people show up. I don't want to always have the same cigars. So one of the things that we do a little bit different, I try to work with the boutique guys and bring in their stuff. Bring in different, have 5, 6, 7, 8 different boutique brands. They can go to a lounge and they can pick something up, but more than likely they're not going to be able to pick up some of the things that we have in here on hand.
try and set us apart from the brick and mortars that are locally, you know.
So what are some of the special brands that you carry?
So currently, right now, we have the Cappy 1901s. We have the GTO. We have the Don V's. We have 708 brand is a boutique brand as well. And then the Don Rafa's. As far as we have not only his like Wild Hogs and his regulars, but we carry his sweet line as well.
Okay, so you're in pretty tight with BCA then.
Yeah. We work with, well with a lot of those guys. Yeah.
Okay. How about you, Hollywood? Where are you sourcing from? What's some of your prime brands that you've got?
I am lucky enough to have some good relationships with some wholesalers down here. I can get almost anything. I have Opus X to my father's to the Deadwood stuff to anything and everything. Padrones, the Cohibas, Macanudos, the Romeos. I carry a little bit of everything.
How many facings do you have in your lounge?
Ooh, probably 50.
All right, that's a lot of shelf space for
a mobile lounge. That's a lot.
Yeah.
How about you, Darius?
I do a lot of sourcing from the wholesaler, our local cigar lounge. They wholesale as well, so I'm in good with them, and I do carry some boutique brands, but mostly from the local cigar lounge, Spring Street here in Mississippi.
Okay. And I know Carmen and Lewis, you are rolling your own. So, what is your primary source of leafing? Are you dealing mostly with Nicaragua or Dominican, or are you just across the board?
Both. We deal with a lot of Nicaraguan and Dominican tobacco. We got a good actually, and we just got a contact, so we're getting some Pennsylvania tobacco as well. But we've been very blessed. When you meet some of the guys that are on top and they see what you're doing and they see that you're in it to win it, they give you their backing. Like we were blessed to meet Francisco Almonte from DBL Cigars.
He's somebody guy.
So we've been under his umbrella for the last year and a half. And then we got other people that give us their support and some of the bigger names. We've been very blessed. We met Steve Saka.
I think they froze. We'll wait for them to come back. Okay, so you froze there for a second, Lewis.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You froze at Saka.
Yeah,
maybe it was Saka that made you freeze.
Steve is awesome, and he gave us a lot of good pointers on how to fix our blends a little bit better, adding more transitions to our cigars. So, a lot of the guys are just great in the industry.
So I was going to say, you're rolling your own cigars and you're blending your own cigars.
Yes.
So how long have you been doing that?
Close to 3 years.
Okay. So you've just basically kind of new at blending and rolling, but you picked it up pretty. Did you get some good advice from Francisco on that?
Francisco was great. We had a Cuban master roller that was our first teacher, and he's like family to us. And he's been amazing. We got some good contacts down in the Florida area. And when we go down there, we try new stuff. We try to tell them what we want. And we sit down and they explain to us until we get what the product that we want to present, then we present it to our clients. If we're not happy with it, we don't put it out.
Now, are you bunching and rolling? Oh, I was going to say, are you bunching and rolling, or are you just acquiring and putting the wrapper on?
No, we bunch and roll.
Wow.
Yeah, we have our own molds, our presses. So we try out new stuff.
Yeah. Pennsylvania, man, that connection. It's a theme tonight. So when you roll them, are you fresh rolling them for the client, or for the patron at that point, or do you have them rolled and aged and pulling them out of your humidor for them?
A lot of the events, we bring stuff already done because we're not going to carry with all the bunch of leaves, but we do bring some stuff to do on site. Sometimes we just come with the liga, so we just finalize it with the wrapper, and then it's just depending on the event.
Okay. Does anybody else partner with a roller once in a while with your lounge, or is just Carmen and Lewis doing that little experience?
Well, I know Joey and his company are hand rollers as well.
Yeah. So we do the same thing, just like Carmen and Lewis. It's so hard to roll 100 cigars in an hour time frame. So we educate our clients and let them know, hey, listen, we're gonna bring some age stuff that's gonna happen. There's going to be some bunching rolling, and adding the final wrapper. Shout out to Francisco, by the way. He's freaking amazing.
Yeah, he is.
But a lot of those families here in Jersey. There's a couple families here in Jersey that really paved the way for what Carmen, Lewis, and I are doing because that's where they started out with. And now they're going to bigger and better things. Like DBL is just expanding out. That's their energy right now. So yeah, we do the showcase, but we let our clients know. As long as the clients know, hey, listen, we're gonna be rolling, we're doing this, and the flavor profile maybe it's going to be different, right? Smoking a fresh cigar than an aged cigar. We let them know that, but they understand it, and they really want it because they like the allurement, they love the experience, and you have to be charismatic in those ways. But yeah, we do both, and then same with everyone else. We do these big events that we know have worked in the past that we just go every year.
We just partnered, well, not partnered up, we just met, and Ish and his team at BAMF Cigars, we've done some talking about bringing one of the rollers on board for big events if we wanted to do something. So that's something we're looking at too. Is later on down the road.
We're always willing to travel.
Yeah.
Right.
And I know Ish would love to he loves being in front of people rolling cigars. I mean, that's his jam. That's what he loves doing. And he creates some of the most incredibly sophisticated blends you've ever got your taste buds on.
They are good.
What I love about this group too, it's like, I'm just saying this because we've been around for 6 years. It's every where everyone's at in their business is that we've been through. I've been through the big fellas where I'm just like, oh yeah, we'll invite this guy. I've been through Hollywood doing tons of events. Carmen and Lewis going to the event. Same thing with Darius. It's just, while we steer this conversation, there's no right and wrong way. It depends on just how you want to see your business. I know some mobile cigar lounge owners are like, I have one event this month and I'm happy as shit. And I'm like, dude, if you're happy about that, I'm happy for you, right? Don't just take our examples and be like, I can't do those things or that it's too much. I think whatever makes you happy and you have a passion for it, and then you set your own expectations, is exactly how you go and run your business. Because everyone here runs it a little bit differently. We're the same, whereas in times like we're bringing the cigars to a location, but we're all running it differently, but we all have a passion in that side. So there's many ways where people could cut this, doing events, doing private events, doing a mix of both. It depends on your area too and your weather.
I'm just gonna say, depends on your area.
Yeah, depends on your area and your weather.
Yep.
So
happy with one event. That when we started last year, I was happy with the one event. Now, what makes me happy is when we're busting this. We're Friday night, we're breaking down. We're sitting up Saturday morning, Saturday afternoon. We're breaking down. We're going to another event. We're doing Saturday night. We're breaking down. We're going Sunday. That's what it is now, and that's that's what we're happy with.
Last year when we got our first event, we were psyched because when we built this and finished this, we had nothing planned. We were waiting. And
he had a cool place to smoke cigars.
I think everyone here can remember their first time someone handed them money in exchange for a cigar. And I think that's a pinnacle moment of when I found out. I was just like, this is like real all the time and planning. I remember that first. I think someone bought like a Romeo Julieta at this event, $10. Boom, and I was like, wow. Like,
On the wall, frame. Put it behind shot-proof glass.
This happened. This just
yeah,
happened.
this just happened. So
Right.
what's great about this group and joining our Facebook group is you have everyone with all walks of life, different parts of the country, and but we all share that same experience, right? And getting that first private event. I remember my first event. I remember when we had more than one on one day, right? It's those things that you look at but that's part of the journey to become a mobile cigar lounge. That's part of the journey. And if you
Yes.
don't want to do that, then this ain't for you. But and there's nothing wrong with that. It's just we are just a couple psychopaths that just love cigars and love having a good time.
So with these rigs, can I assume none of yous live in a homeowners association? Where do you store your rig if your codes don't allow you? I mean, how does that work?
Parking lot.
We have
Storage, parking lot.
storage. We're lucky enough to find a friend of ours that has a building that we put in that's actually climate controlled, alarmed, cambered. It doesn't get below 57 degrees and it doesn't get hotter than 72. So we can plug in, pull in, unhook, plug in, keep the humidors, everything stocked in the humidors, and keep it in here, and just next day or next event, just pull up and go.
One time I had the cops call me because I have my business thing all in my Airstream, and they're like, "Yeah, you gotta move it." And the sergeant on the phone was like, "By the way, you were at my wedding. I loved your cigars." Like, oh, thanks, bro. I'll move it. I'll move it. So it was pretty funny. But yeah, we store it somewhere now. But yeah, we've had those moments. Yeah, check your HOA and check your town laws.
Yeah.
Some in my town you cannot have commercial vehicles like big trucks or big trailers on a residential street. That's why I got pinged for it. So same thing. Check your town laws if they allow you to. If not, your driveway. If not your driveway, what a lot of us do, we store it somewhere else, which could be an additional cost for some people.
Sure, sure. Because you need power hookup. I know people that have RVs and they don't store them in their driveway. They're not allowed to,
Yeah.
so they got to have a storage facility they go to, which is basically an open lot with a bunch of things stored there. That's a secured lot, but you still need. There's a difference between putting a RV there and then go picking it up and prepping it to go on a trip versus having a product that's perishable under the wrong conditions inside of it. Otherwise, you got to break all of that out, take everything out, bring it in the house, and so forth.
That's why that business plan is very key.
Yeah.
I take everything out and bring it in every time.
Yes.
Wow.
That's
I'm in
the hustle of
Arizona.
life.
It's hot. I couldn't keep up with it in Arizona. The RV gets too warm. There's no way I could keep it cool enough. I couldn't keep up with it. It's just easier to bring it in the house.
And
How are you, Darius?
I'm with Hollywood. Same thing. Actually, he gave me an idea. I think maybe about a year ago when we talked, the big DeWalt carry case. Put them in, take them in, and storage it's
on wheels. Bring it in the house. You're good to go.
Okay. One of our listeners, Lou Piscatelli, my local brother relief here in Melbourne, Florida, he says, doesn't Joey donate to a few military causes? And before you answer that, we'll go around the horn if we can, as others have charities that you run with your lounges. So go ahead, Joey. You can talk first about it.
Yeah, we donated a lot to organizations. I think we've donated close to over 100,000 since our inception to nonprofits, which then in turn we create our own nonprofit. It's our nonprofit arm called Patriots of the Leaf. And for that, we help veterans, first responders, and those connected, help them with their finances or their mental well-being. So right now we're planning a whitewater rafting trip. We have a potluck and cigar get together in 2 weeks. So we're doing a Jaws on the Lake where I live. So I'm inviting a couple people there. But my community is veterans, first responders, and that means very, very much to me for being a veteran myself. So I donate to a lot of organizations. Yeah.
Anybody else? Thank you for
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, I mean,
And
coming from a law enforcement background myself, private security, we do a lot of veteran and our local first responder stuff, so like our golf outings and for our police and fire departments and things like that. We donate our time and then try to do something to give back to them as well.
And sometimes
yeah,
that
but
donation, just like with Brian, time, right? I added extra hours, extra cigars, for like local nonprofits, some PBAs, FBMAs and stuff like that.
Yeah,
anybody
Cigars for
else?
Warrior is a good one too that we donated cigars to. My brother runs a nonprofit for veterans called the Silent Warrior, and whoever needs cigars, who gives us a call, we drop and send some cigars to him, and he spreads them around as well.
Okay. That's what business is about. It's you got to give back to your community as much as you can. Keeps growing the business, gets respect in the community. People know that you're in this for the long haul and doing the right thing. So it's good. It's good to know that.
Well, I think there's a stigma with the tobacco industry in itself that they don't give back to the community, and a lot of people that are non-educated with the cigar industry, they don't know how much the tobacco industry does give back. Like the Fuente family, Francisco Monte does a lot of stuff in the Dominican Republic. A lot of the guys do a lot of stuff in Nicaragua. So there's a lot of stuff given back to the communities that the average Joe doesn't know about.
Yeah, and you don't even get me started on how the world, the non-cigar smokers don't understand that. I mean, even my climb for autism, when we raised $10,000, 90% of that came from the cigar industry. Okay. And it was just an amazing feeling to know that I was able to get cigar community to raise $10,000 for autism. It was just like, wow, I never thought it would happen, and it did. And that's how we are. And when people are in need and people need help, whether it's in the industry or outside the industry, they reach out, and we're some of the first ones on a GoFundMe. That's like, help out. Like I'll even throw out a public service announcement right now, in case you haven't been following the news with Sin Coburn, okay, from Dissident Cigars, if you're familiar with that brand or her. She's going through some medical difficulties right now, and I know that I think they have a GoFundMe, something up for her right now. So again, anybody that's listening, if you want to reach out and help out with that, again, it's just $10 here and $10 there goes a tremendous way if everybody gets behind it. So
it does.
Yeah. And I also think too, Jimmie, I go by the 3 T's. You could either, gift your time, talent, or your treasures. Time being there to help volunteer. I've worked with a lot of veteran um, nonprofits that we volunteer. I've painted a lot of schools here in New Jersey, made a lot of urban gardens. Your treasures, your money, and your talent. Like frickin' mentor a bunch of high school kids over here in Don Bosco about entrepreneurship. So it's not just one way that you could give back, right? It's those 3 things: your time, talent, and your treasures, which I think is very important. That if you're in that position, for me, it's always been like that. That's how I've been raised.
okay, so that brings us well beyond the hour. We got a little time here for some fast last statements. So we'll just start with Darius. Closing comments.
I think just piggybacking off what everybody else said, like it's definitely not a sprint. It's definitely a marathon. You just got to take your time and be persistent, and definitely have to hustle and keep the right mindset.
Okay, how about Carmen and Luis?
One of the beautiful things about our association is that we know that there's other people in other states. So if somebody hits us up and they're in Chicago area, we'll tell them to go to Big Fellas. If they're two on the Jersey side, we'll tell them to go to Joey. Arizona, same thing with Hollywood. Now we know Darius, he's down in Mississippi. So it's pretty cool because we all, we push clients to wherever we can't reach, but there's other people that can reach them. And that's something that we all do. So it's like a big brother and sisterhood.
That's fantastic. How about Brian and
Yeah, to piggyback off what they've said, don't be afraid to ask questions. It's when you're getting into this, if that's why we have the group. It's been very helpful for us, beneficial. Again, like they mentioned, Hollywood's been a great asset. I tip my hat to him. I thank him for a lot of
big time.
A lot of the information that's in my Rolodex now is because of him and the group, everybody in the group. They've been wonderful. Joey's been great.
Yes.
There's a few others out there that have really kind of helped us out, and it's the CMLA is a great resource.
how about you, Hollywood?
Like, kind of like I like to say, like rising water raises all ships. Like we all help each other out. So I don't think anybody here is competition. I don't think any of the lounges are competition. I think I'm the only one in Arizona, but if there's 3 more in Arizona that pop up, good. If you need my help, I will help you. Because you're only going to help me eventually. If you can't do a booking, I can maybe do it, or maybe I can't do it and you can do it. And like we said, like if there's someone in Chicago, or we send them wherever we know people, we send them to that direction, and it helps us all.
Darius,
How about you, Joey?
Oh, were you saying, Brian? Something, Brian?
Oh, when we launched, I just want to mention, Darius hashtagged us. He promoted us and hashtagged us. Collaboration, not competition. And I use that a lot. And I think that's, everybody in this group, everybody here today, I think that's the biggest thing. It's collaboration, not competition.
That meant a lot, bro. We appreciate that.
No problem. No problem.
For sure. All love.
You, Joey?
Yeah, for me, Jimmy, something I learned in the military, it's mission first, people always. Not only it's just a brand that me and my 2 other veterans that started this company, we have a team of 60 to then go out of thousands of people every year. So making sure that people always mission first, but people always, and that's keeping my team happy, keeping my clients happy, keeping my family happy, right? But I think that's a big thing for me as last words.
So, in my closing, when are we going to have a CMLA cigar festival?
Oof.
Oh,
That would be
That'd be amazing.
We've talked about
I can imagine. I could just see all of these things, as many as you can get, converged on an area where
Well,
people
everybody is slow in the wintertime, and I'm busy in the wintertime, but
Yeah.
I'm more than welcome to host it here in Arizona.
wouldn't that? I mean, that would be like the coolest thing in the world. Be unique, where you just got all these lounges set up in a field, right? You could have a band stage, you can, and you could just have people walking around and going from lounge to lounge to lounge. I mean, and maybe the admission is a ticket to get a cigar at each lounge,
Maybe in the next 2 years, because I could see
Yeah.
everyone here, because I see everyone's faces. I'm glad to see a lot of, familiar faces here. You got past your first year. This next 2 to 3 years is about recycling and reinvesting. I would say the next 2 to 3 years, don't be surprised, Jimmy, if there is something that pops up, because that means that people have started their businesses. I mean, Hollywood's like 3 years since he started. He's kind of like the second oldest besides myself, but I'm sure in the next 2 to 3 years there's going to be something that pops up where we join together because, like I said, everyone, it's kind of like we're all just starting out the game. It's in our first, second, third year, but then when we get to our fourth and our fifth year, it gets pretty nice and it gets a lot better and easier. So yeah, don't be surprised the next 2 3 years. I think something will pop up. But yeah, Brian's been leading the group. He's been doing awesome. Everyone there, the CMLA, have been supportive. I read the posts and I do my input whenever I can contribute. But it's a great page.
And I think one of the major points is, Jimmy, before we go, is that the big brands are starting to notice that we're a player in the game as well as the brick and mortars are. So they're starting to pay a little bit more attention to us now. Before it was like, they just thought that we were like street vendors and that was it. But I think they're starting to notice that this is a real deal, and they're taking us more serious now.
There you go.
Hopefully, I open some doors because this family right here, JC Newman. I mean, there's tons of other families that are going to be looking at some other cigar lounges. So it's great.
It's a great idea to have something sponsored heavily by a brand. They get branding, okay, out of it. You're getting cigars to sell. It's just a terrific approach to running such a business. So with that, that's our show today. This Saturday, we are hoping to have Dos Iotos cigars on. That'll be Saturday at 7 p.m. And with that, I want to thank everybody for joining. This has been a great panel. I've been reading some of the comments as you've been talking, and everybody's been thumbs upping and going like, hey, this is a fantastic show. Every time I listen to this, and I've done this 3 times now, I think, I in the back of my head go, why am I not doing this? I'm retired. I just tell my wife.
Let us tell you the ways. Why you don't do this?
Exactly.
Trust me.
And I thank all the viewers and all the sponsors, for without them, the show is always harder to do. So with that,
we appreciate you having us on. Kind of bringing everybody to light, bringing everybody together, and making this happen. So I want to say thank you for that.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you, Jimmie.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jimmie. You're awesome, man.
always,
Thank you for having us.
always my pleasure.